So why do we outsource our lives? You know what I mean by that? We outsource everything. We outsource somebody else to prepare our food. You know, I eat out a lot, right? So I'm outsourcing my lunch to somebody else. I'm paying them money to do that. We outsource everything in our lives. We outsource our security, right? The police are going to keep us safe. Well, I'll tell you what, I worked in emergency services for a while. And even the cops and the deputies and the sheriff, everybody that I talked to, they said, hey, you know, we can't be there to protect you all the time. You have to be able to protect yourself. You know, we outsource our food. That's a big one, right? Everybody thinks that Walmart will always be there. Well, I hope so. Because if it's not, we're all screwed. I was reading somewhere, and this is, again, under my little conspiracy theories, right? Put my tinfoil hat on. So there is, in an average city, across the U.S., whatever city you want, there's about 3 days worth of food in that city for the citizens. Okay, now that's if nothing goes wrong. That's just if the trucks stop coming in and nobody finds out about it and we just go about our daily lives. In 3 days, the shelves will be bare. Okay. Now, how many of you have been in an emergency situation where you go there and everything is cleared out, right? In 45 minutes, the shelves of a city can be cleared out of essential items. 45 minutes when there's something bad going to happen. And it does happen, right? It might not affect the entire country, but I remember Hurricane Sandy. I think it took like a week, and people in New Jersey were eating out of the dumpster. Okay? This is New Jersey. I mean, and the rest of the country was fine, right? I'm in the Midwest. I'm fine. I give a crap less about the weather out there in New Jersey. But to those people, it was like the apocalypse, the end of the world, because they'd outsourced their food to Walmart and to producers in California and to the trucking system. Nothing against truckers. Nothing against anybody. It's just this system that we have. If we don't get trucks on time, then stuff goes bare. The shelves go bare. You know, if we don't get gas right on time, then the pumps go dry. You know, people don't even keep a lot of stock in inventory anymore because they get this just-in-time shipping. Well, then what happens when it's not just in time? What happens when it's a little bit late? Well, then their whole system is screwed up, right? It used to be people would have a year's supply of food, right? Some people still do. Kudos to you. But people would have cellars full of food. You know, they would have gardens, and they'd eat fresh food all the time. I don't know how many of you out there have had fresh from the garden food, but it's amazing. The food you get from the grocery store doesn't even compare. It's like a washed out version of what real food should be. And you know, carrots that are actually sweet, you know, without sugar being injected into them. It's amazing. But here's the deal. There's this blog out there called like $100 a month or something, and they were spending like $800 a month on food down to $100 because they started growing and producing their own. Now, it took a lot of time, right? And I think that's why people don't want to do it, because it takes them time if they don't outsource their life. Because then they have to make their own food. They have to go to the store and buy the food, or have to grow their own food. Excuse me, the hiccups are here. You know, or you have to do a whole lot more investigating and learning about how things work. So you don't get to Twitter and Facebook and watch TV and movies as much because you're out doing other things. My buddy, who I guess I kind of talk about a hero in each one of my videos. Is that a thing I'm doing? He went and bought his land, and he bought it in cash, and he built his house up, and he did that in cash, and he has aquaponics, and he's done all that. And now he's creating all this food, right? And he has this whole little ecosystem in a barn at his place, in a greenhouse. And they're pretty self-sufficient. You know, they're not fully self-sufficient, but I think they're moving that way. And boy, 99% of the country could take a lesson from them. Because, I mean, think about it. How much food do you have in your house? Do you have a year's worth of food? Do you have 6 months? Do you have a week's worth of food? With no electricity, right? No electricity, because we're talking end of the world crap, right? It doesn't have to be end of the world, just end of the world for your small geographical area. Think about Joplin, Missouri, when the tornado hit. That was end of the world times there, you know? And do you have a 72 hours even of food ready? You know, I carry 3 days of food. I don't carry enough water usually. I am in my truck. I carry enough water. I carry a medical bag. I carry rifle and pistol and a lot of ammo. I often joke that if somebody were to look in my car, that they'd call the cops because they think I was going to go on some shooting spree, but that's just how I roll around because I've just seen too many movies, right, where you only have one magazine of ammo and then you just have a paperweight. So I don't want that to happen to me. But what I try to do is I try to take everything into my own hands that I can. I'm trying to stop outsourcing my life. You know, I do jujitsu. Those MMA fans among us might know what that is. You know, it's based in self-defense. Yeah, sure, I carry a pistol with me. I carry a knife with me. I carry mace with me a lot of the time. But see, your power can't come from those things. Your power has to come from yourself. If somebody takes those things away from you, are you still able to defend yourself? Are you still able to do what needs to be done? And so I'm a very big proponent of people getting out there, becoming self-sufficient, becoming self-dependent, not dependent upon other people to do these things for them. And then they get mad when the police aren't there in time. Give me a break, people. Give me a freaking break.